Hello and welcome everyone to AnubhavTrainings.com. In this video series of Anubhav Learning Series, we will discuss about how to consume a HANA procedure which is written in SQL script language in the ABAP system using ADBC. Many of you who have attended my ABAP on HANA training, come S4 HANA training, we have learned about writing SQL script code end-to-end, including all three types of containers, so-called anonymous blocks, procedures, and functions. Functions are further of two types, scalar and table functions. So in this episode, we will go ahead and see, once you have your procedure ready in HANA, and if you are on NetWeaver 7.3 or on a BW system, which is running HANA as a sidecar scenario, how can you consume these HANA procedures using ABAP database connectivity option? So let's understand quickly the three ways by which a HANA procedure can be called by an ABAP system. The first oldest technique which exists today is if your company is a NetWeaver 7.4 SP2 and below. In that case, you go with ABAP database connectivity to do that. And this is the technique. We're going to learn it in this video. And then if your company is above NetWeaver 7.4 SP2, you can go ahead and use procedure proxies in ABAP development tools. And if your company is now on S4 HANA, for example, or NetWeaver 7.4 SP6 Plus, and running on HANA DB especially, you can go ahead and create an ABAP managed data procedure. So in this session, our focus is this one, the first milestone, to understand how can we use ABAP database connectivity to create or in fact consume a procedure which is created in HANA system. So let's get started. What I've done is already I have created a procedure in HANA, and it's a very simple one. It has an import parameter, and this import parameter is taking a product category as an input. And it has then an output parameter, which is responding back data in form of a table for all the given product category, all the sales for that product in different currency. So just wanted to show you execution of this procedure in HANA. I will also share the source code of this procedure to all of you in the description of current video. So you can go ahead and download this source code and try this example in your system. So let me open the SQL console and test it right in HANA Studio first. So we call the procedure and pass the product category as notebooks. And then we will just see what is the response it gives me. So you can see for a given category of the product, it gives me all the sales of that product in different currencies. Yeah, this is our current procedure. So now what I wanted to show you first is the approach of calling this procedure from ABAP system. So what we will do is to call this from ABAP and using ABAP database connectivity. You cannot consume this as it is. You have to first write this procedure call with overview addition. When you do that, watch out what happens. So when you do this call with overview addition keyword, you will execute. So what HANA does is it takes out the result which this procedure produces, and it puts this result in a temporary table. And HANA will tell you what is the name of this temporary table in which the procedure is storing the result. And then within the same session, if you query this temporary table, you're going to get your result. So this is what our approach will be to call this from ABAP using ADBC connectivity, to call this procedure in an overview mode, and then read the results and read this table name, temporary table name, and then move a select query again using ADBC to read the data from this particular temporary table. So that will be our approach. So we will go back to now ABAP development tool on Eclipse, and here is where we're going to write a quick ABAP program. So I'll go here. I will share this ABAP code also with you. You guys can also use it as it is in your company to also in case you have a requirement to call a procedure. Yet remember, it is not a recommended practice to use ADBC. If you are on S4 HANA, better you move to ABAP managed data procedure. Or if you are on Suite on HANA, better you switch to view proxy technique, procedure proxy technique, to call your procedures. However, this is for those who are still running on old systems and below NetWeaver 7.4. In that case, this particular technique would be effective. So I will name it as Z call procedure using ADBC, calling HANA procedure using ADBC. And I'll click on next button and finish. And I will now start using the ADBC API. You all know the ADBC API as I taught you already in my ABAP on HANA course. So this video is more effective if you have already taken my ABAP on HANA training. But those who are completely new, I would strongly recommend you to please go and check anubhavtrainings.com and subscribe our ABAP on HANA Commits for HANA training. That's where we start everything from scratch with the foundation and explain you all the things more in detail. Those who are ABAPers and aspire to become a full stack developer, you should also would like to subscribe UI5 Fury training along with Fury Security with one-stop shop solution for all of your learning need today with anubhavtrainings.com. So I'm going to go back, and here we'll start first declaring our data variables. So as I just mentioned, the very first thing is we need to create a variable which can hold this result of a call of a procedure with variable and table. So let's create data types here to first hold the variable and table result, and then later on when you call this procedure or call this select query on this temporary table, it's going to produce the actual result, and that actual result we are going to store. And as you already saw it, the actual result was in a form of just again show you, it was in a form of currency code and the total sales. So I can just say call procedure with the sample data, and you can see the result of it. You see currency code and gross amount. So we need two data declaration, one for variable and table, and then second is currency code and gross amount. So let's go back, and I'll start with types declaration, begin of type ty underscore proc result, procedure result, which returns out to be a variable, and then a table. And now next, another type I'm going to create, which is for procedure result. So begin of ty underscore data result, and then we will have currency code type C length 4. It's better to type it with ABAP data type, so we're going to use the database table from where this has been referenced. So we can reference this currency code from here, and also the gross amount. Exactly. So let me declare here two tables, so-called one is LT procedure result, and another is data. And at the same time, we will also declare the dynamic data type LR proc, because when you use ADBC, you need these dynamic reference types, and you can say LR these two data types. And let's also assign quickly these references. So get reference of LT proc to LR proc. And the next one is get reference of this. Of course, it should be into LT data into LR data. Okay, nice. So this was our beginning, the starting point, and now it's time to put a try-catch block, of course, because we will also be handling the exception handling, just in case any exception occurs with respect to ADBC. This is how we can support it. And now what I'm going to do is we'll write CL SQL exception That's a super class of any exception coming in the ADBC call. I'm going to also write here exception get text. Nice. So let's go on the top here. And now what we're going to do is in this, we will create a connection object. So let's create a connection object. Get connection. Next is we are going to create a statement object from this connection object. Create a statement. This is your ADBC API. ADBC stands for ABAP database connectivity. Those who come from Java world, you might have heard about JDBC. So Java database connectivity. Similarly, SAP has created ADBC ABAP database connectivity. So now using this API, we're going to make a first statement ready. And in that first statement is our call procedure statement. So I'm going to copy this statement as it is, and I'm going to create a LV statement object as a string. And I'm going to use the new string operator with NetWeaver 7.4 to build this string over here. Fantastic. And let's pass this question mark as null. And this is my first call, or so-called my first statement, which we will be giving to the database. So now we are going to use this statement object and produce the result set. So we can say data LO result set is equals to LO statement object, and say execute this query please. And of course we're going to pass in this the statement, this statement variable which we created. Nice. So that is how I'm executing. Let me make it maximize. Okay, so now here we are giving this call statement to our database. Right now hard-coded notebooks, of course we can later on change it to parameter. And now this statement goes in. But before this statement is executed, we have to tell the system where is that my result set is going to come. So you must have to tell that once HANA returns you the data, where is the data is going to come. So you have to set the param table. And here we have to give the reference of our data table, which is I gave procedure result. I will give as this one. So that's my dynamic data type. Now, once this is set, it's time to shoot up. So for shooting up this call statement to HANA, we have to call result set next package. This is the call you have to make it. Fantastic. This code can be used exactly as it is in your company with just modification of this line, depending on your procedure. You can use it exactly same. Okay, nice. So once this is complete, my result comes out. And in that case, once my result comes out, I will read the table with index 1 and I just try to build the select query and print it on the screen for now in the phase 1. So that's going to be our phase 1. So when the result comes out, it comes out to be this LT proc. Okay, so I'm going to say read table LT proc into data ls proc with index of 1. And then we're going to build another statement, guys. Over here, this statement I'm going to modify, and I will build a select statement. Select this star from this temporary table which system has presented to me in a response of procedure call. So we say table name. Fantastic. And I'm just right now going to print it on the UI with LV statement just to see if it gives me the right statement or not. So as you just saw that when we call the procedure in the first go with the overview, system return me this table which has a one entry, and this contains the temporary table name. So I'm just building a select query on this temporary table which we are going to fire next in the phase 2, and we're going to read all the data from this temp table. But let's see if it is at least building a select query on the temp table. I'm going to save this. We will also close this connection. On a safer side, it's always a good practice that whatever result set you've opened, just make a close to this, just to free the resources which you have. It's a good practice. And I'm gonna activate this report. If everything goes bad, then you can always see the problems, but luckily all of my code seems to be okay. And now I simply go and execute this, and what we should see, a properly built select statement. Wow, you can see here, this is the temporary table which HANA is creating to and where HANA is pumping this result of the procedure which is produced with an overview call. So the next ADBC step is very easy. It's just that use this statement and fire this select query now. So again, repeat of the almost same thing. We're going to say hello result set. And we will say hello statement, execute query. And this time my query statement changes to this new statement which we had just prepared. Awesome. And now next is setting the params tab and calling the next package to fire this query to DB. I'm just going to reuse this code here. And this time the result is assigned to my second LR data reference. Call the next package. Hopefully the data is now being ready. So we can print this data on the screen. I will be using CL_demo output, which is a ready to use class in ABAP to print something on the output result display data. And we pass here this second table LT data. Save this up. We are all ready. All right, time to go back, activate and execute. And hopefully the data result which you were seeing here, let me just show you. You were getting 4 records with something like 30, 5, 6, and 80. Something of this sort, 4 records we should see now in ABAP system. I'm going to execute. I just fired and execute, and let us see. Voila, there you go. Exact one-to-one match with HANA. I'm going to put both of them side by side to actually compare and show you that it's not a joke, it's real. You can see exact one-to-one match. When you call this procedure in HANA, what data was coming. When you call it in ABAP, what data is coming. So this is one of the best way to achieve code to data paradigm with new ABAP on HANA architecture. And you're going to always benefit with this technique. Again, I would repeat, we should go with AMDP, ABAP Managed Data Procedure, if we are on S4 HANA rather than going with this technique. Fantastic. Now it's time to replace this notebook with a parameter. So I'm going to come here and I will put a parameter name. So I'm just going to say pcat. And let me declare this pcat on the top. Parameter pcat type SNWD PD table category. Some product category. Just going to use execute. And now you're going to see a beautiful, simple parameter screen. You can pass the value over here for a product. For example, I want to see the total sales for all the flat screen monitors. Execute. And you see this is a sales for flat screen monitor, which is of course different than the notebooks. You can go back again and now say notebooks. And there you go. This is the sale for notebook. And the result comes with a blink of an eye because it is definitely, being executed and performed. The aggregation is being performed in HANA DB, and you know the benefits of using SAP HANA. I'm sure this is something which is really amazing and beneficial for you, those who are using ABAP on HANA systems. You can really improve the performance to a great level by leveraging the full power of SAP HANA DB computing engine. Yeah, with that, it's a wrap on today's session. Those who are not so clear what I did here, please subscribe my ABAP on HANA training so that you know from the basics what's going on behind the scenes and what does this mean. With that, Anubhav signing out. Thank you so much for watching this session, and I will see you in my next learning series video.